Nerdrotic.com.
Mission Impossible 7. We'll start out spoiler free. I mean, like, it's been out for a week. I got to see it Tuesday. I had that theme in my head for a week. And before I
woke
saw
up
it,
with it in my head.
before I saw it, Garrett, I watched all 6 in 3 days. Shad.
Whoa.
All 6 at my home theater, and it was fucking awesome. Watch it, except for 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It was just dreadful.
Dude,
We watched number 1 and just jumped to number 3, and I watched 3
Yeah.
last night.
honestly, you could just go 3 on, and you're fine.
I think you have to watch 1, or at least have had watched 1 at some point in time to appreciate 7.
Yes.
The only thing I don't appreciate about 1 is making Mr. Phelps the bad guy. Fuck
Yes.
that decision. What
Who
was
here has watched the original show? Like the original Mission
Hello.
Impossible show.
Dude.
It's great.
Long
I
time
love
ago.
that show.
Oh wait,
Oh my God!
right here.
You
better be careful with that one, Gary. You better be careful.
I
watched
watched
it.
about it too. He like whipped that thing out.
Sorry, just right to you from a web
Clipped as clipped.
Good.
The show is
Um,
fucking outstanding. I watched it all the time as a kid, and it really does follow a lot of the beats of the show, even now. Like, it's more action set pieces, but the absurdity of the spy versus spy thing, I mean, it's practically spy versus spy from Mad Magazine. Because if you really think about it, if you just got rid of the impossible mission force, that would get rid of all the problems, because it's always a fucking rogue agent. You know, it's always some rogue agent or former agent. But dude, I loved it. I don't think it was as good as Fallout. I think Fallout's my favorite. Ghost Protocol is pretty fucking good too.
I think Ghost is my favorite.
But since Jeremy's short on time, Jeremy, what did you think?
My only issue with this movie, and I'll keep this vague, I won't go into specifics. I didn't love the motivations or I didn't love how the tiebacks to the villain, like, it felt really kind of forced. You know what I mean? Like the tiebacks to all this time, we're this far into it. I was like, yeah, but the villain itself was fine. I liked the villain. I just, the motivation, or the tiebacks to, like, really, like 7 movies in and now we're going here type thing. It just, I don't know.
I totally
whatever,
agree. Yeah.
You know, so, but overall, it's a fantastic movie. It's everything you want. And again, there's scenes in the movie where you, as a moviegoer, you know that there's really no danger here, and you're still like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're
God,
on the
are
edge
they gonna
of your
make it?
seat.
Are they gonna make it? It's excellent.
You can tell in the beginning where they said Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so it has prominent female characters, and this is something normally we wouldn't have to ever mention but we're in 2023, where if you dislike a movie, it's because it has women in it, which is the most retarded thing ever. This movie has really good female characters in it. They don't tear down the male character. Ethan Hunt is still Ethan Hunt. He's still a badass, and they complement the story and they complement the movie, and it works. It's definitely everything you would want to go to see for a Mission Impossible movie. Great action, edge of your seat stuff. And then I think by seeing that whole ramp scene prior to this moment, I think it makes you appreciate it even more. And I think that that's kind of a common thing with Mission Impossible, where we see Tom Cruise really doing these stunts, and we see it behind the scenes before we see it. Then when we see it play out on the live action or on screen for the first time, I appreciate the seriousness of that moment even more, because I'm like, this dude really did it. And that's not something you would normally like to see. You wouldn't like to see behind the scenes stuff prior to seeing the movie, but when Tom Cruise is really putting his life on the line, you see those moments in the movie. I think it carries so much more weight in that moment. And there was that moment, and when it happened in the theater, you could heard a pin drop, dude. It was, people were still holding their breath, because it's like, you know, it's real.
Yeah.
And so yep.
Same here.
recommend this movie.
I just want to jump on what Jeremy was saying there about actual real stunts and how much more engaging and impressive they are, because it seems like Hollywood is completely getting disconnected from that. Look at Dial of Destiny, where it's all green screen, and like the
Absolutely.
chase on the horse got nothing out of that because it was all fake. And one of the reasons why I loved classic Jackie Chan movies like Drunken Master and Rumble in the Bronx and everything like that is because he's really pulling off these insanely impressive athletic feats in beautiful choreography. And genuinely, most of the enjoyment out of those films was seeing an absolute expert do amazing things. I didn't need a great story. I didn't need great acting, but I was just blown away by the physicality in those films and how great they are. And we are totally losing that. And so it's great to hear Mission Impossible, that scene with the ramp and everything like that, yeah, absolutely, like a real massive stunt set piece like that gets you engaged and you love seeing it. So I'm
having Indy like come out right before this. There's a lot of those parallels. Like there's there's a train scene in both of them, and the way it was shot in Mission Impossible, it feels real. They were really on top of a train. There was real outdoor air hitting their bodies, and then you cut that to Indy where it feels sterile. It was on a green screen.
It looks fake.
It looks completely fake. It's dark. In this, daylight. You see every single aspect of it.
Dude, the train scene in the first Mission Impossible film looked better than the fucking Indy train scene, okay?
And you can also like parallel the chase scenes. So in Indy, you have the tuk-tuk race where it also feels very sterile, like they're on green screen or in the void, and then cut to this, and you know that they're driving through the streets. You know that they're running into actual mopeds and cars and stuff and doing all these stunts. It feels real because it is.
I've seen some people that are like, there was just so much female stuff in this movie. It felt like identity politics. It's like, bro, the woman literally couldn't fucking drive. Like, the woman could not drive in this movie. Like,
I actually really liked her character.
I like she was fine too. She was a fucking pain in the ass because she refused to like trust that Ethan was like going to do the right thing, and she made everything harder for him. And despite all that, he continued to like go and go and go and go.
So I mean, most women.
Yeah, it's a real life like thing. Like, you know, this is what men deal with. Like, incompetent, dumb woman who can't drive, but she's so fucking hot, you put up with it.
You driving one hand, like the idea of me driving one-handed, handcuffed to someone would be more efficient than a woman driving. That's real world shit. And by the way, all that chase scene was done in reality. Like, he was actually handcuffed to her. He was actually doing it one-handed. They did a behind-the-scenes feature of that as well.
And I
like
it
Grace's
shows
character because she wasn't a Mary Sue, right? She didn't step in and everybody loved her. She was perfect at everything. She was really she was in over her head.
She was very confident at the start because she was in a wheelhouse with the thievery, and so it was all exciting to her, and she thought this is a lot of fun. Then she got in the shit, and she knew she was in the shit.
Right.
Yes.
And it was a great change of her character then, realizing what this fucking world was and there were some moments. Don't want to ruin some moments, but there was an amazing scene when they're in a safe house with her and Ethan and Ving Rhames and stuff like that. I think
I want to see it again now.
I'm seeing it again on Monday. I'm seeing it on Monday. So
dude, this film is what it's supposed to be: action, set pieces. Now, the reason I like Fallout and Ghost Protocol more is I think they have better stories. I think they have better stories, better character. I think Henry Cavill's a fucking great bad guy that they probably shouldn't have killed, but they did. Sorry, spoilers. But
to me, I think the first 20 minutes or so was a little bit dry, mostly because there was so much explaining about what this thing was. And they really had to set the groundwork for that in terms of the entity and in terms of the challenge it posed. And that is all like a very current thing, to be honest.
Yep. Shad, earmuffs, spoilers.
Thank you.
I think they explained it enough, but like if you're dealing with an AI that has access to absolutely fucking everything, how are you still trusting your phone? How are you trusting anything?
Right.
But they did explain that they did say that this thing is fucking with people. Like it is absolutely fucking. So it's cheeky. It's a little cheeky.
And they kind of learn it over the course of the movie too.
Yeah.
Which is
I was watching Fallout, and I leaned over to my wife, and I was like, "What if they had a computer system that could make you invisible?" And that's what this is. This made the antagonist guy. What was his name? The bad guy.
Gabriel.
Yeah.
It made him invisible to all cameras, so you couldn't track him. I was like, that's such a fucking scary prospect. You could be a completely invisible.
I'm sure you could
agent
eventually pay for a service like that, like the elites.
and just
could.
delete you off.
This would have been
if they're not already.
Film would have been like the entity would have been L. Ron Hubbard. You know what I mean?
No, L. Ron Hubbard is Ethan Hunt, mate.
Hey, you know what?
and Gabriel would have been Gabriella.
Right?
Yeah.
But
That's
honestly,
the Disney version.
you know what? After the craziness we've had, like Scientology is not even the worst problem we have in fucking Hollywood, okay? They're fine. I have no problem with them anymore. Yeah.
Maybe Tom Cruise isn't as crazy as we thought.
World do we live in?
I like the Grace character a lot, and I noticed that at the very beginning of the movie, he was wearing like a gray vest and gray pants and a white top, and then like at the end of the movie on the train scene, Grace was wearing what looked like the exact same outfit. So it's like, oh, are they setting her up to be kind of like a female, Tom Cruise character?
I
But
think
she
there's
wasn't insufferably, uber
annoying.
feminist. She wasn't trying to
Yeah.
put him down. Like I
No.
kind of, even though it was annoying at times that she wouldn't trust him, but I liked her like very female moments, like when he was trying to get her to jump to the other platform and she kept like holding on to him. Like
That
that
was
was
good. Yeah.
believable
Yes,
and
yes.
cute. And by the time she actually did put her trust in him, it really meant something. And you're
Yep.
like, oh wow, she fucking
I think that's the job they did really well with her, because she's so self-reliant to start the film off with. This is all her. She gets a job, she does it herself, she's on her own. So everything was a game. Absolutely everything was a game. So even when he's saying, hey, I'm doing this, she's just like, I don't care. I need you to serve my desire, whatever it be, whether it's be to escape, to get hold of this, to get the key, whatever it may be. I just need to use you as a tool.
Right.
Then the incident happens in Venice, and then we have the talk in the safe house, and it's then that she realizes that she's fucked.
And she's
You know,
like, I
it's-
really do need men. Which
Well,
is like a great
I'm just a
moment for
simple
all
woman.
women to
Yeah.
have.
Well,
I'm
and
property
they
of a
explained
man,
they
and
explained that
I'm-
she was an orphan, right? So she'd always had to be self-reliant. So that's called characterization. I know we're not used to it. These are like basic elements of filmmaking.
An
Right?
arc.
Character building. Who?
Yeah.
It's something Hollywood forgot.
It's like, oh wow,
She was
I
just
know
a good
something
match
about her
for Cruise.
past.
She wasn't trying to, like, she would maybe one up him, like the time she handcuffed him to the train tracks. But then he would come back and
Yeah,
kind
they're
of, like,
one-upping
one-up her.
one another.
Yeah, I
And
like
I
that.
like
he was
that
always
one
on
up
top.
him.
He was always the one on top to like best her.
And
at
you
the- in the end,
absolutely
because he's the main
can
character.
unlock handcuffs with a paperclip. You can do that. That is not
Yes, you
Hollywood
can.
bullshit. I've done it.
all handcuff keys, if they're the basic police handcuff, can
Yeah.
open up any
That's
handcuffs.
a turn on.
Yep.
Wow, we know what Chrissy's
those-
been up to. A
those
little
on.
role playing, a little Mission Impossible going on with filing cabinet. You have 5 seconds to complete this mission. Sorry.
Spoilers. Again, we're talking spoilers. I know the thing's up, but so do you guys think that Ilsa's still alive?
No.
No.
Ooh.
Well, she's credited in the next movie, so you never know.
Could be
Could be a
fun.
flashback or whatever.
Flashback.
Could be a flashback.
She got a knife in the heart.
I would be pissed if she
I
did.
know.
I would be
like,
pissed because
to
like they
me-
really built that up as a moment
Yeah.
for him.
She took the decision from Ethan.
Yep.
And I thought that was like a really kind of like badass thing to do.
Yeah. So
Such
the
a good character.
The
Such a good
AI
character. I love
can
Elsa.
can figure out. Well, it can anticipate decisions. Gabriel said that, and that's why he's got all the info, because he's getting it straight from the entity.
Yes.
Right. And he said one of these two women is going to die. It's going to be your choice.
Here's my thing. I wouldn't be totally surprised because there was so many glances between them, like before everything went down and everyone scattered. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out the next one that like back at the thing, they made this plan where they thought they were going to be anticipated. And I don't know how they would do it or whatever, but it just seemed
What, to get her off the grid?
Well,
you mean?
they foreshadowed
Kind
it.
of.
That's possible because they foreshadowed it in the beginning of the film when they
Exactly.
faked
I
out her
think they
death.
foreshadowed the death of another agent in the next film. Right at the end, because there's certain words which are said, and there's a certain character that's on the screen when they're saying it, and I think it's setting up that character to be killed off in the next film.
Simon Pegg.
You
Simon
think
Pegg.
Simon Benji's
yeah.
gone?
Benji's
So,
gone. I think
that-
Benji's gone. Yeah.
They went through that and they established him and even what's most important to you, my friends.
My
and all that
friends,
stuff.
yeah.
He's been such a big part. Like I wondered if Luther was gonna have something to do. He just went off the grid.
Well, because they're
right,
both,
to-
yeah, because
to
him,
work on the source code.
Luther and
but-
Benji are
right.
both like the men in the chair. I mean, they're both the same
character.
thing.
Luther's like daddy. He's like, I have to go out for cigarettes. BRB.
Luther,
He did
Luther
for one
used to be
movie.
a little bit different than that. He used to be like kind of the quasi field operative, but then he got kind of old and fat. So they're like,
Yep.
we need you to not run around anymore.
But they both had both Benji and Luther had stuff to do. They had their own, the bit in the airport I thought was really good.
Yeah,
and
that was good.
they had their own agency and they had something to actually work on.
Separated them.
Yep.
I love the whole airport scene. I thought the airport scene, just
that was
everything,
really good.
the way it was constructed was
Running
so
on the
fucking
roof.
good, man.
I have a kissing question because I haven't seen the recent Mission Impossible movies, like the previous ones recently. I mean, I saw them all when they came out. I noticed and I was bothered by there was zero kissing in this movie. And is that because they filmed during COVID or because
Possibly.
That's a
Ethan's
good point.
character
I don't-
separates business
I
and
can't think of
romance?
any of the characters because him and Ilsa,
Him and Elsa
they
hook up.
were kind of together, but it was on and off, and it was a very kind of like standoffish.
I would prefer
that
to
position.
not have any fucking romance in any of my fucking action movies.
Even if
So-
they're dying,
Nothing wrong with
Male
it.
on male.
Nothing.
all the James Bonds have romance in it.
Got plenty of
Dude,
sites.
fucking-
Got plenty of sites. I
Yeah,
can go
you
to
got
for that.
plenty of that.
if I
So-
were bleeding out on a bridge, the least you could do is kiss me before I die.
So to put it in perspective,
You hear
all the
that,
recent
Frank?
Mission Impossible movies, since 3, Ethan's wife was in hiding, basically. Like he kind of just separated from her to protect her.
Yeah, she's
so he was
officially
really never
dead.
exactly. So he was never really interested in anyone else. They kind of wrapped all of that up in Fallout a little bit. In this one, they obviously imply that him and Ilsa are very close and involved, but also they're always on different sides of things and kind of working against each other. She obviously didn't tell him about the stuff that he would have wanted to know about the key in this movie.
Yeah.
And the actress even got asked, have you and Ethan like hooked up? And she's like, who fucking cares? That's not what the movie's about.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's implied when they go when he's out looking over Venice.
This is my first time in Venice.
I think it's implied that they hook up there. But I think Esai Morales is just fucking awesome. I love him as an actor. I think he's so good as an actor. And I thought the whole bridge scene with both Elsa coming to Haley Atwell's rescue.
I love the fact that Haley Atwell got her ass kicked.
Yeah, she got her ass kicked. Yeah,
And then
he
Elsa
kicked her ass. Elsa's a great fighter, and they had a much tighter fight. And he managed to just overwhelm her a bit
She
at
had
the
a
end.
sword and he had a fucking switchblade. And he still won.
Yeah.
He's a great villain.
Yeah.
Like I said, on the train, he literally comes out of a coffin with like a robot mask.
He was
and the
good.
music's like dun, 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 and he's like, like it's the most over the top, but it like in the best kind of way. In the best kind of way.
What a way to get out of paying for a ticket.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I think everybody here recommends Mission Impossible.
Yep.
It's if you've liked any of the previous movies, you're gonna love this one.
There.
You're satisfied. You're satisfied at the end,
Satisfied with the ending.
and you're still looking forward to what's next.
The thing that's great about this movie, it really is kind of the return back to the blockbuster. I mean, with all the garbage that we've been getting over the years, it's like, wow, this is what I used to watch.
Well,
And it was rather
part of the
refreshing for a
Tropic
change.
Thunder parody, right? I mean, like it is a seventh movie that's a part one, so it should be fucking ridiculous. But at this point, this is the best thing that's been out as far as a it's popcorn movie. Like it's tons of
So
fun.
it's a good movie when you get the title name drop in like the first 2 sentences. That Russian,
Dead Reckoning.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Hey, if you like what we do here at Nerdrotic Daily, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you could do that with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.